Hey, this is Craig Bielik with Ogden Regional Medical Center. Today we're talking about ski and snowboard safety. We're up here at beautiful Snow Basin with Dr. Bruce Thomas, an orthopedic surgeon associated with our hospital. Today, specifically, Dr. Thomas, we're going to talk about stretching and how important stretching is, proper stretching, and what can happen to you if you do not stretch. So, very first thing, why is stretching important?
Stretching is important. When your muscles are contracted and tight, if you have to put a sudden forceful contraction on them, you can get an injury. It should be a muscle strain or tear. Stretching wakes your muscles up, gives them a little compliance, and you're able to cope with the sudden loads you're going to put on while you ski.
Okay, and like walking to your car to load your gear, that's not stretching, right?
That's not stretching, and it's probably not really warming up either.
Right. And when I get out of bed before I go skiing and that's not stretching.
That's not stretching.
Right. What is proper stretching? And we do have members of the Flying Kangaroos, which I should mention, Ogden Regional and Dr. Bruce Thomas are both sponsors of, here today with us to demonstrate a little bit of stretching. Where do you want to start?
Let's start with the quadriceps. The quadriceps are the large muscle group on the front of your thigh. It gives you a lot of strength. That's what you feel burning by the end of the day when you're skiing. Stretching these out before you hit the slope will help reduce your risk of an injury and give you better response and control. Okay,
we got Nick right here with the Flying Kangaroos. Nick is going to give us a little bit of demonstration on a quad stretch. And Dr. Thomas, describe what's happening.
So Nick's kneeling down, putting one leg forward and kneeling with the other leg, and as she flexes her calf up, she's putting a tension on her quads, that muscle group on the front of her thigh. That will stretch it out and make it more pliable and more responsive to her commands.
And how long should you do this?
You should do it until you feel nice and warm and you feel like the tension is releasing on that muscle group as you do the stretch.
One good type of stretching. Now let's move on to a different type of stretch.
Emma's going to show us another version of a quadriceps stretching exercise. She's stretching the quads on her right leg when she's doing that. As she flexes her knee and puts force on it, it stretches the muscle throughout its length. That will loosen it up and help her to have better control.
Okay, and should she do that, like, I'm assuming that she would shift position and then go onto the other leg, right?
Correct. She's switched back and forth. She spends a few moments on each side. Bouncing back and forth is probably not as effective. This will work better when she's warm, doing it perhaps before you come out and put your boots on.
Thanks, Emma, for that stretch. But we got to move on. We got to learn more about stretching. What's next?
You also want to stretch your hamstring muscle group. That's the big group on the back side of your thigh. Also very important in skiing and control. Alice is going to demonstrate a hamstring stretch for us. She is stretching the hamstrings on her right leg by bending forward and pushing her knee into full extension. She'll lean forward and stretch that until she feels the tension improving, and then she can switch and do it on the other leg.
Okay, and what are the benefits of stretching? Why are people stretching?
Stretching helps reduce your risk of an injury. Your muscles are less tight and will respond better to not only the forces you put on them, but the impacts if you have an accident.
Okay, Alice, perfect stretching. Okay, now what's next?
Next, Ebony's going to demonstrate another hamstring stretch. As she bends forward and keeps her heel as close to the ground as she can, that stretches not only hamstrings on the back of her thigh, but also her calf muscles. And she'll switch from leg to leg.
Thank you, Ebony. All this is good stretching, but we got one more. One final stretch that's important. Tell us what it is. We're going to have a little demonstration and tell us again why this one is important.
She's stretching her hamstrings, and this is basically toe touching, but by crossing the one leg over, it gives her a little more distance to stretch the muscle and gives her a little more stretch. In a moment, she'll switch over and cross the other way and stretch the other side as well. And she should keep stretching until she feels less tension with the same amount of flexion.
Dr. Thomas, what should you do if you think you've injured yourself? I mean, a lot of injuries are pretty evident on the ski slopes, but sometimes you go home, you feel a little, like maybe you've torn this or maybe you've hurt that. How do you know when you're in trouble? When should you seek some medical advice?
The minor injuries will get better pretty quick. You can take some anti-inflammatories, rest it, stretch slowly, maybe ice. If it lasts more than a couple of days, or if you're unable to walk or do your regular activities, then you probably should get medical attention.
Okay, is skiing good exercise? I've heard people say, it can't be exercise. You're just on a couple of boards going down the hill. You know, it's like riding a merry-go-round. Is that true?
That's not true. Skiing is excellent exercise, and you use more muscle groups than just your legs. And if you train well and prepare for it, it's an excellent workout and even gives you some cardio benefit.
So again, good advice on stretching and getting yourself ready for skiing from Dr. Bruce Thomas, orthopedic surgeon associated with Ogden Regional Medical Center and also a sponsor of the Flying Kangaroos. Dr. Thomas, thank you for being here with us.
I appreciate it, Craig. I hope everybody has a good ski season. Prepare well, enjoy the snow, and don't forget your bucket.